Hello everyone, this is Minister William, or Reverend Will if you wish, and this is the sermon for July 22nd, or July 31st, 2022, and as always, we will start with a moment of silence for prayer, meditation, or what have you. Alright, thank you. I want to apologize for having no sermon last week, but due to technical difficulties, the video was corrupted and I was not able to post. But no fear, this week's sermon will be called The Story of the Stonecutter, which was going to be last week's sermon, so you didn't miss it. Once upon a time, there lived a stonecutter who was dissatisfied with his life. One day, he passes by a beautiful mansion on his way to work. It belonged to a wealthy merchant. He paused in a mere amusement, glaring at human creation's beauty. From where he stood, he saw delicate possessions, renowned guests, and plenty of workers, all servants all set to work. He became envious and deeply worshipped to have everything the wealthy and powerful merchant did. Suddenly, the stonecutter swept into the merchant, taking over his body and mind. He was aware of the merchant's innermost feelings, thoughts, and memories. He felt the joy of owning all the luxuries in the world money could buy. He knew the pleasures of holding such a respectable position in society. So many honored him, while many more envied him. After a few days of enjoying the merchant's life, he saw a sultan carried in a sedan chair, accompanied by attendants, soldiers, and servants. Despite their power and wealth, everyone was obligated to bow before the figure worshipped as God. After seeing this, he knew he had mistaken about the merchant's power and status. In a split second, he moved into the body of the sultan, mighty and feared. He knew that he knew what it felt like to be exalted and glorified by the entire kingdom, to hold power to pardon and take a man's life and be respected by sultans and kings from other lands. And with the power, and with all this power came exclusive luxuries as a bonus that anyone could ever dream of. One day he was extreme unease on a hot summer noon. His overweight body made the heat even more intolerable. He looked up at the sun and thought about how it was unaffected by his presence. He then swiftly became the sun, blazing with glory, the source of life and strength of every living creature on the planet. He continued to radiate until a massive storm gathered below him, hindering the strength of his rays. The storm then burst into a pouring rain. Seeing this, he became the cloud. He felt the incredible power of its existence as it swept along the sky, flooding everything it wished to. There was nothing that could beat the storm. Not too late did he realize that the entire root of his power was yet another force, wind. The strength of the rain was negligible without the wind, and so he became it, blowing off the roofs of houses, uprooting trees, and everything else that came in its way. Yet another force strangled its ego, a huge rock, towering rock. The wind would blow against it with a ferocity and force of ultimate magnitude. The rock would stand still, unmoving, indispensable. He then became it, a solid, dense, immortal, powerful, and essential factor on Earth. Then, after a while, he heard a familiar sound, the sound that is heard when a set of tools strikes a rock. Chink, 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 chink. He then felt himself being chiseled, cut into, and reformed. He looked down at the artist, the figure of a stonecutter. You will never be happy if you constantly look at what others have. In other words, the grass isn't always greener on the other side. Sometimes it looks like people are living better off than you. Um, I know sometimes I think other people are better at doing things that I enjoy than I am. But we have to be happy with what we got and who we are. Because there are people who envy us and think that we, what we have, is important. There, so be proud of what you have. Work for what you want, but try not to envy anybody else, because there is always somebody who envies you as well. Remember, everyone, when we all come together, the possibilities are endless. And I'll see you next week. Thank you.